I just downloaded a pattern for a catnip ravioli. You use like twine, and then you put the catnip in the middle, obviously, and then you just make like a ravioli around it. And I'm like, Marvel's gonna love this. She needs a
Yeah.
ravioli.
I got a pom-pom maker. Or
Love a
Joe
pom pom.
gifted me a pom-pom maker,
Yeah,
and I use them to make toys for the cats. You
yeah.
just make them tight pom-poms and they
You
go
gotta make them
nuts.
super tight so that they don't explode.
They wreck
Yeah,
them eventually, but
yeah,
they haven't been, they don't eat the wreckage, so it's fine.
yeah. That's my big concern with I've got yarn all over the house. My big concern is always like, do not ingest any of this. I do not have the monies to spend, $5,000 unspooling you from the inside. All right, we ready to do this?
Yep, I think we're all set.
All right. Hello, friends and fiends. Welcome to Bugs Need Heroes, the podcast about insect superpowers. Each episode, an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring. The podcast about insect superpowers. Each episode, an artist and an entomologist team up to illustrate the inspiring abilities of insects by creating bug-themed superheroes. I'm Amanda.
I'm Kelly.
Producer Derek and Clementine are also here. Before we get started creating this bug-inspired hero, what's bugging you, Kelly?
Well, mere moments before I came into this room for the podcast, Finn discovered the fattest flesh fly I've ever seen. It was huge, like trying to figure out like maybe the size of, I don't know, like your fingertip, like just big, like a big fly. It's so loud, and Finn's just
We've had several
screaming at it,
big
just
old boys
screaming
in
at it.
our
Yeah.
house. Like,
So
just
he's
huge. I'm
yelling.
like,
Oh,
how did you get in here? There must not be a crack this size in my house somewhere for you to get in.
our balcony door is open, so it
Yeah,
just flew
that's
in.
it. Is
We like the breeze.
yeah, we
Um,
left a window open and they come.
but even with one eye and three legs, this boy slapped that fly right out of the sky onto the ground, and then he took his meaty paw and beat it into the oblivion. And then he tried to eat it, and I stopped
Of
him
course, yeah, yeah.
because I don't know,
I,
he might puke or something.
I've
But
said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. I hate the term flesh fly. It's it's bad. There's nothing good about. It's like a Dark Souls enemy. Flesh fly.
it is flesh itself is just
I
not a
hate the
great
word
word.
flesh. There's never really a great moment where I'm like, oh yeah, use the word flesh here. That's what I want.
But I
Uh,
am proud of my little hunter. He did a great job even with all of his disabilities. He took that thing
Marvel
down immediately.
Marvel's not good at hunting flies, but she wants to hunt the fly. They buzz by and she's like, but I discovered because all of our windows have screens so that the cat can't get out, right?
Mhm.
Um, but there's like an airlock. I don't know. I'm sure there's a real word for it between the outer glass and the inner glass, the outer screen and the inner glass. And so if a fly lands on the screen, you can close the glass window, and now you've got fly zoo for your cat. And I got like 3 of those suckers one day. Marvel just sat there and watched Fly Zoo for the rest of their short lives. It was
Yeah, it's really funny how invested Darcy doesn't care at all. He's like,
yeah,
I'm too old for
flying.
that. I'm just gonna take a nap. He
That's a
doesn't
young man's game.
he chases nothing. He doesn't even look at it. He doesn't care.
I wonder, can he even hear it at this point? He's
Yeah, he can
unbothered.
hear it because
Okay.
he hears his name when we call him, and
Oh,
I think
he's
he just
got
doesn't care.
selective hearing. Yeah.
Yeah. He does care when the lanternflies come because they're bigger,
Mm.
and I'll like throw one in the middle of the apartment for he'll kind of approach that, but mostly just to look at it. Finn will destroy, but he's a young boy, so that's why. What's bugging you? Anything interesting?
I've just been gardening up a storm. I keep finding,
Hmm.
I don't know if they're darkling beetles or if there's something else. I just keep finding pupa in the dirt. Every time I feel bad. What I found one the other day that was moving, and I was like, does that mean you're about to come out, or does that mean you just got in? I'm not sure.
He'll
But
move if disturbed. It's
well, I disturbed him, that is for
yeah.
sure. He was mad. So that's mostly, and we're also at that magical time of year here in the Pacific Northwest where the weather changes about 6 times a day.
Mm.
So it'll be like blasting sun, and then it'll be pouring rain, and then it'll be like, oh, really nice out, and then it'll be too windy, and like all that will happen in the space of a couple of hours. So you never know how to dress. You never know whether
Yeah,
to put on a
that's
sweater.
frustrating. You have to keep a jacket with you just in case.
Correct. But I am excited for today's episode because it is
Hmm.
a long awaited topic, which is only slightly off of our usual thing. Celebrating 100. Oh my gosh, speaking of celebrating 100, uh, the Sir David Attenborough is now 100 years
Yeah.
old.
100 years of David Attenborough, 100
100
episodes of
years.
Bugs Need Heroes.
Perfect. Kismet.
Comparable.
Kiss. But no, we are every day grateful. Every time he shows up on my feed, I have a moment of panic.
Panic. Me
It's
too.
like David
Like,
Attenborough,
today can't be the day. Don't do it.
hey, I can't handle it right now, David. But it's always like he dedicated some building or
Yeah.
another bug is named after him.
Something else is named after
Yeah,
him, or
yeah,
he's got a new document. He has a new, actually does have a new documentary coming out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think it's like part of the 100
he's a
years of
hardworking
David thing.
dude.
Yeah, these days he basically just does the voiceovers, and I'm like, that's fine. Stay home, sir.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Sleep in a little soft cotton ball cocoon. We need you out here.
Sleep as late as you want. Take your time.
It's fine.
Get a
Don't
little exercise.
have
You're
pets,
good.
but none that are like at a trippable height.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Get old pets who don't demand a lot from you.
I want you only to have senior dogs who can't
Yes.
bark anymore. They're like, you're like, there he is. That's Millicent. She's as old as the day is long. That's what I want for you.
What are we covering today?
But what are we covering today for episode 100? We have finally cajoled, dare I say, bullied Kelly into
Bullied is
watching
the proper term here.
Bug's Life, Pixar classic, A Bug's Life.
Mhm.
And made Kelly take notes on how much Buggy Life was accurate, how much Buggy Life wasn't accurate. Overall, what is your first initial vibe? Did you enjoy the movie?
Did I enjoy? Yeah, I thought it was cute.
Uh,
I enjoyed the movie. The cast was wild.
yes, the casting
What
is wild.
what a
This
cast.
this is right at the I could get into this now. This is right at the point where movies make the switch from having movie cast, like specifically for voice casted things, where you have dedicated voice actors in movies. This is right after the switch to trying to use celebrities to draw people to a movie.
Hmm.
That switch happened. I want to say it really got the ball rolling with Aladdin with Robin Williams. There was other minor celebrities would show up and stuff. What's his name? Haskins or whatever is like the seagull in the Little Mermaid. But you'd have like minor B-list comedians show up in a couple
Yeah.
of other stuff. But they weren't like a big name. Robin Williams in Aladdin is really the first like, hey, we've got like a proper celebrity in our movie. And Aladdin of
Oh,
course does sorry.
Derek is saying Mel Gibson and Pocahontas too.
Yes, Pocahontas is
Is it
post Aladdin.
is it later?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But uh, uh, so that they have this big, and they're trying to use it like as a celebrity draw, basically. Before then, it had been kind of dedicated voice acting staff, and then it turns. And when Aladdin did huge numbers, because Aladdin's a good movie,
Mhm.
um, the film industry wanted to say, well, oh, okay, so the people want celebrities in their movies. No, I want good movies, but so like now like a huge amount of any movie's budget animated movie is like voice cast. It's like ridiculous. I'm like, you can
Yeah.
get anybody. You can get
Yeah, you don't
anybody.
need
I
these
don't
voices.
I don't need Sharon Stone to be an ant.
An ant.
Preview for discussions later. But like I don't need her. I don't need Oprah to say 2 lines.
Although I
You know,
am always happy to hear Richard Kind in
yeah,
anything. And
yeah. There are people who are both like we've discussed before. Bradley Cooper's a good voice actor. He also
yeah.
happens to be a good use my actual body actor, but his voice acting is like pretty amazing. And And not everyone has it. Not every celebrity can voice act. Not every actor who's good in real space is a good voice actor. You
Yeah.
realize how much of their acting is their face. The minute
I
you
think
can't see their
this was
face.
okay. I can't thinking about who voiced it, none of it was like, oh, they're doing a bad job.
Right, right. There's no
So
stinkers in this one. This one's again early enough that they're not really. They're still casting people that are motive. They're emotive actors.
yeah.
Known mostly comedians who are known for being emotive.
Although
It's
we did
not
have
till later.
Kevin Spacey of all people was in this
I
as
think he does okay. My
as the
other
bad guy,
thoughts.
but yeah.
My other
But
thoughts
he
about Kevin Spacey being what they are. I think he
yeah,
does a
but
good
he did
job as
fine.
Hopper. He's very menacing
He's very,
as
very
the
menacing.
grasshopper.
Yeah.
Although I do
Horrible
think,
man, but really good voice acting.
yeah,
Yeah.
precisely those two things not need to link up. Uh, Also, it's very funny that the bad guy's name is literally just Hopper. He's a
Yeah.
grasshopper.
Hopper.
This would be like Mr. Man was the villain in it. So Mr. Man is here. Which is what every parent has always called their toddler son. Oh, here he comes, Mr. Man.
So weird. Why do
Not
parents
as
do that?
menacing,
Uh, um, but
but
I mean, it's so the story was cute.
mhm, mhm.
Initially, the first like right off the bat, I'm like, why do the ants only have four
I
limbs?
knew you were gonna clock in on the four-legged ants immediately.
But
They're just like bipedal ants.
all the other bugs had appropriate amounts
Hmm.
of legs. So I'm like,
Yes.
why just the ant? It was very jarring.
So it
If
is
it was
a
like if they were all kind of wrong, then I would have been
yes,
like, well, they're trying to do like a anthropomorphic
yes. That
thing
the
here
short
throughout the
answer is that they're
movie.
anthropomorphic. If you look at the early sketches from this episode, is going to lean heavily on my Disney adulthood, um, like badge of honor. But if you look at the early stuff, they did have all six legs, and it wasn't till they needed to make them look more friendly, like more like
Oh,
they started to take away legs from the ants, and so that's why like Hopper, the grasshoppers still have all six legs because they're meant to look less human,
but
less
our
anthropomorphized.
cute ladybug had
Yeah, yeah. The
six
other
legs.
the circus bugs. I think it's just that this.
Derek is saying the moth and the mantis might have only had four. I don't remember. That's
I
possible.
think you're right. I think the mantis does only have four, but like the widow has all her legs.
Yeah,
We should
and the
we should
stick
back
bug
up
has
and,
all
and
his legs,
yeah. Well, he's
which
so
I think was
long. It
David
would
Hyde
look
Pierce.
it is David Pierce. It would look ridiculous if the stick bug didn't only have two legs. It'd look silly. I agree with you. I think they could have found a way to make the six legs work. So to sum up the plot of the movie briefly, there is a ant, and he is a little bit of a weirdo, a little bit of a freak. He wants to be an inventor. That's like, in many ways, Disney's go-to I'm a weirdo is to be an inventor.
An
I'm not
inventor. Yeah.
sure why Disney thinks inventors live outside of society. Like every time there's like a manic genius inventor, he's rejected by his peers. I don't know why that's the case.
It's a little Ghostbustery, right?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe just too ahead of their time, but like specifically inventors. Um, he wants to modernize, I guess, the ants. But the crux of it is there's a colony of ants, and every summer a group of grasshoppers comes and they eat a huge amount of the ants' food as like a I don't know what you'd call an extortion scheme.
Yeah.
I guess because they're like, well, if you don't give us this food, something bad could happen to you. Very mob-esque, right? And then through
This
hijinks,
is very the ant that fable, the ant and the
yeah, well,
grasshopper, where
yeah, the ant and the grasshopper is what it's based
except
on.
in that fable, the grasshopper isn't menacing or evil, it's just lazy.
Yeah, we'll
So
talk
this is
about ant and
like
the
extreme.
grasshopper in just a second here because I deep dived ant and the grasshopper, and there's some wild stuff in there. Um, so anyway, so they got to make this offering, this food offering to the grasshoppers, and through hijinks, this inventor ant destroys the offering to the grasshoppers. The grasshoppers show up. There's no food. They are mad. They are like, "Where's the food?" So they basically say, "Well, now you have to get us double the amount of food by the end of summer, or we'll be when we come back, it'll be a problem for you, right?" So they all are mad at the inventor ant. They're all like, "Hey, bro, I can't believe you did this to us." And why they don't just banish him then and there, I don't understand. But they send him on this journey basically to just get rid of him for a little while, to go find other bugs that will help them in their conflict with these grasshoppers. He goes out. He goes to go find them. He witnesses a performing troupe of circus bugs performing a Robin Hood-esque uh, uh, moment in a conflict with flies. And he mistakes them for warrior bugs. So he takes this group of circus bugs back to his home to battle against the grasshoppers, and then only once he's home does he realize they're not warriors, they're circus bugs. They're clowns and
They're
idiots.
actors.
Tours, thespians, nothing less. However, he manages to come up with a plan to make a fake bird. And the bird will be the thing that scares away the grasshoppers, hopefully never to return. And hopefully his circus bug plot will never be exposed. It, of course, is later. The
Yeah.
grasshoppers return. Things go horribly awry. But in the end, the ants triumph and the grasshoppers are banished from the island, and everyone ends happily ever after. Some of the major themes, would you say? Social justice, the collective versus the power class. It's
Okay, I had some technical difficulties there, but we are back. Med, what were we talking about?
dive back in. Um, it's an interesting cast all around, like we
Mm.
just mentioned a minute ago. But it's almost all comedians. I want to say, I think Kevin Spacey's the only one that I wouldn't clearly call a comedic actor. I guess
Um,
he's there for the gravitas.
yeah, because Julia Louis-Dreyfus
Yeah,
was
this is
at a
Seinfeld era, I think. So,
yeah.
and then
Hayden Panettiere.
Panettiere,
I can
yes,
never say her name. She was the little
yeah,
she's
she's
Dot
the
the
junior
which was
princess.
cute.
So small, so teeny. I forget that she started acting literally she's like 5 years old in this. She's
Yeah,
tiny.
yeah, she must have been so small.
Uh,
Um,
and of course, Kids in the Hall. Nick is the
yeah,
main guy. Is Flick.
Dave Foley.
Dave Foley. I want to say Nick Foley. I'm like, that's not right. Dave
That's a
Foley.
wrestler, right?
I think it is. That's why I know the name. That's why it's bouncing around in there. And then just a few years later, his buddy would be in Lilo and Stitch. I'm surprised they haven't swooped up more of the kids. What's be in the hall? Fun fact: this movie also ruined him financially, but that's fine. We don't need to get
This
into that.
movie?
Well, I wouldn't say this movie, but this could maybe get cut because it's a little depressing. But
Oh, because it bumped up
because it bumped
his
up his like perceived like worth.
wealth,
And then
and
when he
then like
got
after the
divorced, yeah,
divorce,
so he
yeah.
had to pay all this,
That whole thing is very sad.
yeah, he has to pay all this alimony, all this child support based on his income the year the Bugs Life, and you're like, oh no, sir. And then yeah, it's a whole,
He does not make that money now
this was
or
a
even close to
one-time
it.
thing, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and you always hope when you get, nowadays, a lot of voice actors, especially celebrity voice actors, will put into their contracts, if you recur this character, you have to call me first. I have like right of first
Mm.
refusal. Like all the Frozen cast has that. That was not the case early on when these celebrities are doing it. So you could have, a big name celebrity in your movie, but then all the video games are voiced by like some guy who vaguely
It
sounds
sounds
like it.
like that
Right.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so you're like, that's not the guy. Like all the TV shows in the 90s, you remember all those TV shows they made? Like every movie had an animated TV show, even if it wasn't a child's movie.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, why did Men in Black have an animated TV show? I wouldn't call that a kid's movie, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Even Ghostbusters feels like it's too scary to have a kids version. And yet here we are. Uh
Oh, yeah, there was a
yeah.
RoboCop cartoon. I remember
Oh,
that. That should not have been for
that
children.
is not for children. The themes of that movie are not right over a child's head. I'd hope. They go over a child's head. Um, the themes of this movie are interesting because so I do want to ask you this. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot.
That's okay.
Aesop's Fables. When you hear one of Aesop's Fables, what time are you thinking of? When do you think Aesop was a dude?
Um, God, I don't know. Maybe 1800s?
You would not be alone in that assumption. Aesop is from 600 BCE.
Oh,
He's an
really?
ancient
Oh,
Greek.
okay.
And I think a lot of people, I'm not judging you on this because I think a lot of people
Mhm.
think he's like a Brothers Grimm like character where he's, collecting these old-timey stories. He's old. He's old as dirt. He's before Common Era. I want to say
Oh,
he's
okay.
like
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
560 to 620, something like that. Actually, the other way around, 620 to 5. It's some of the way time works. But no, he's like an ancient Greek. He's so old that the grasshopper and the ant is referred to in the Bible as like a common story that everyone reading the Bible should already know.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I don't know my Bible
no,
stuff.
that's fair. I think it's even mentioned twice. And maybe that's just, a common phraseature, but maybe it's not directly referencing Aesop, but at
Yeah.
least
I feel like
the
now that
idea
you
is out
said
there.
it's ancient Greek, I knew
Yeah,
that,
no, no, no.
but didn't
I don't
think about it.
I don't think
Yeah,
people need to
it's
memorize when all
fine.
this stuff is
Yeah.
coming from, but it's just one of those things where I think people think Aesop and they just put it in the category of old timey. And I want for
Yeah.
anyone listening to this to know that it's ancient. It's not just
Ancient.
old timey,
Yeah.
it's ancient.
It's the oldest of
It's the
timies.
oldest of timies. And so old that we're not sure if Aesop wrote them or if he just collected them. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
So the ant and the grasshopper,
So
tell us
it's
about
originally
what that fable is.
the grasshopper is a cicada. Because when you think about ancient
Mm.
Greek, it would have been a cicada, not necessarily a grasshopper. So originally it's the cicada and the ant. And the original story goes the cicada spends all summer singing and not preparing for the winter. Meanwhile, the ants do spend all summer preparing for the winter. And so when the cicada eventually the cold comes and it has nowhere to go, the ants take it in and agree to feed it for a song. There's, variations of that even that far back. What's really interesting to me about what's later the grasshopper and the ant is the correct moral answer to whether or not to feed the grasshopper changes over and over and over again depending on what society is interpreting the story.
Mhm.
So in some stories the ant refuses the grasshopper and says, "No, you can't come in. You had all summer to get ready and you're going to come in and steal my stuff." Rude. And then and in some tellings where the ant refuses, that's seen as like, oh, what a jerk the ant is. And in other stories, it's like, the ant is correct. They'll never lift themselves up if they don't learn to prepare all summer long.
Yeah.
Depending again on like what society is telling the story. And for Disney specifically, they had already done a grasshopper and the ant retelling in I think the 30s. They did a short, so they'd already like
Mm.
kind of done a grasshopper and ant thing before. And by then it's pretty firmly the grasshopper learns from his way his lazy ways, and the ants take him in and they live, happily. The queen listens to the grasshopper's beautiful song and he pays for his dinner with a song, that sort of thing. But I mean, 2,000 years of the same story, 2,500 years of the same story. It's got like a bajillion versions at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And now the Pixar version, where
now
the grasshopper is a bully.
is a jerk, is a mob boss.
Yeah.
So the other big inspiration on A Bug's Life is the Seven Samurai. Are you familiar with the Seven Samurai at all?
Yeah, yeah, a little bit.
So it's one part the grasshopper and the ant, one part the Seven Samurai. Which if you don't know the Seven Samurai, it's the same basic plot of like, oh no, our town, it's being raided by horrible bandits. Who will save us? And then the one guy who's like a ruined samurai, I think he's like a wandering ronin. He goes to go find 7 warriors to help them, and hijinks ensue. But yeah, same basic sort of
Yeah.
plot there. So, and so I don't know if you know that oftentimes there's like in the 90s there's like several stories of Disney or Pixar or other executives getting together and they have like a lunch where they brainstorm like 10 movies and then those 10 movies are like the next decade of films that they make. And so they'll come up with the idea for like Monsters Inc. was brought up at the same lunch as A Bug's Life.
Wow.
Like they just plan, and they did the same thing with like Lilo and Stitch and Emperor's New Groove and stuff. Like all those are all, I think Brother Bear is also that same meeting of like, we're just going to talk about what movies we're going to make for the next 10 years, because they all take 3, 4, 5 years to make. So you can plan a lot of movies and with only a few ideas. But Bug's Life 1. So the story goes that the Toy Story was winding down. They're almost done with Toy Story, which is going to be like the first Pixar movie, right? And they're realizing that they're close to the end and they don't know what they're going to make next. So they have this big meeting, right? And A Bug's Life, versions of it had been kicking around for a long time, but the only thing they really shared was it's going to be about bugs. They really wanted to make a bug movie. So
Like a little bug
there's
movie.
like a lot of bug pitches that exist in like the early 90s in Disney in some form or another. But A Bug's Life as the treatment, they went with that one because they felt they could render the exoskeletons more more convincingly than anything that was made out of fur or had skin. Which I don't
Yeah.
think they're wrong. Which is the same reason why they went with toys for Toy Story. Is because if everything looked plastic, it was easier.
Then it was fine.
Right. The
Yeah.
like uncanny valley was less because like, oh yeah, they're supposed to be like kind of shiny because they're toys. They're made of plastic. And they, so that same theory goes for A Bug's Life. So did you have any other than the ants being a bipedal?
4. Bipedal with 4 limbs.
Which again, not all of them were. Like the ladybug only had 4, but the stick bug had 6. The grasshoppers had 6.
Yeah, it was a little bit
It was a
willy-nilly.
little bit willy-nilly.
I guess that the thing is we want to identify with the ants, so
Yeah.
maybe you make them
Yeah.
look more people.
Like they don't even have like mandibles or anything.
No, they have little smiley faces and noses somehow.
They have like little human, like triangle, like almost Muppet-esque, almost Kermit the Frog-esque.
Yeah.
Just
So I've been playing a lot of Grounded, a
same
video
girl.
game where you
Same
are
girl.
shrunk. Yeah. And when he gets on that dandelion
girl, same.
seed, it like floats across. I was like, am I
playing
crazy right now? I think
Grounded
I feel like I'm watching Grounded. There were lots of little parts of that reminded me of Grounded.
Very much so. So one of the things Pixar did to get this like perspective of like living as an ant is they made a tiny Lego car and put a tiny camera on it and then would like drag that through grass to like
that's cool.
see how it felt to be that way. At one point I think Lasseter describes it as like, I had no idea bugs were living under this like stained glass of clover tops and like beautiful foliage.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful movie actually.
But I'm really enjoying that game.
Yes.
So I think because Joe and I have been playing it every night, like after work, we sit down and we play like an hour of Grounded.
My oldest loves it.
We're slowly making our way through the story. So I had kind of that going on while we were watching. There's like a few problems. One that the baby Dot looked like an ant. She should have looked like a gross little white larva. You know when you pick up a stone or you open up a piece of bark and there's an ant nest in there and they immediately grab
all the little
larvae
white larvae
and they start running around with it, and she would have looked like this little
I understand why they
grub.
didn't do that, but like technically, why is she small? Ants don't grow up as ants. They grow up as larvae.
And wings.
Yeah.
She had wings as a baby, which makes no sense. And so, nuptial flights happen when an ant is ready to reproduce and a queen, and we'll go do that.
And they had a very
or males.
human idea about how the next queen comes in. It was like the old queen was training the new queen. I was like,
no.
Ada's out of here. She's leaving.
I think with the most, I don't want to say egregious, but maybe egregious, was that the ants were cowards. That is not
I
Ants.
agree. Like
That is not ants at
they
all.
for the
Those
plot.
grasshoppers would have come in and threatened the nest, and the ants would have said, "I don't think so."
I mean, they get there in the end. He's like, they're
Yeah.
like, he's gonna squish the queen, and all the ants were suddenly like, okay, time to roll, And I was like, okay, where's this energy been the whole movie? Yeah. I mean, for the plot, they had to little be cowards. There was a couple things that I would not have clocked 4 years ago when we started this podcast, and now I was like,
Oh, that's good.
like when the ladybug gets injured, I was like, should have had yellow blood. That would have been
Yeah, yeah,
that would have been
yeah.
so funny,
Episode one, ladies and
Episode
gentlemen.
one. Also, do bugs heal? I feel like they don't. Like, because the ladybug is like sidelined for a little while because his leg gets broken, and they have to wait for his leg to heal.
If you rip the leg off of a bug, it doesn't bleed forever. It
Yeah,
does
yeah. I'm not arguing
stop.
that it doesn't like coagulate, but like if a leg gets broken, I don't feel like
No, it doesn't heal.
yeah,
No, if
the
you
way that
like
like a
snap the
human
leg,
bone
it's
heals.
snapped.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I guess
it's just
exoskeleton, that's the big disadvantage, I guess. It's on the outside, it doesn't heal the same.
yeah. If you if a bug loses a whole limb and it still has the chance to molt, if it's still molting, then it will
Oh.
regrow the limb
Oh, okay.
during the next
So
molt.
the ladybug
If
would have
they
had to be a youngin still. Would have had to still be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
spiky boy.
Although I did like at one point at the end of the movie there's like the big ant battle
Yeah.
and they made a fake bird
Yes,
and the
fake
fake
bird.
bird is swooping. That bird looks like maybe a tanager, some
Oh,
kind of
I didn't
tanager to
even
me.
think about whether it was a real bird or not.
Yeah,
It's like, is it
it's
a yellow bird?
not the color. The colors don't really totally match up, but it reminds me of maybe a tanager or a
Yeah.
finch. And
Yeah, very
but anyway, they
finchy.
make this fake bird and it's swooping down and it scares one of the grasshoppers so much it's all of its skin comes
Yeah.
off and it's like one perfect
One
exoskeleton
perfect
that
molt.
falls to the ground. And I thought, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty silly.
Oh, what did you think about the feral, I guess, why like driven mad grasshopper character that they kept as kind of their like threat? They had like
Yeah, the locust.
yes, I see. I knew you'd get it immediately. I didn't realize that until this rewatch. I was like, oh, he's a locust. He's a grasshopper who's like gone locusty. I don't know what the word would be.
Really, it's just how many grasshoppers are in one space
Uh
eating your crops. Like it's not a crazy grasshopper.
right,
It's
right.
just a yeah.
I mean, I didn't even really. I thought locusts and grasshoppers were two separate animals until pretty recently, the space of this podcast. So um, so yeah, that
We
was a
should
joke I
maybe
did.
do like a locust episode where we can talk about
Yeah,
kind of what the behavioral shifts are and
because
what causes
I
that to
don't think I'd be the
happen.
only one who
So we'll
didn't
save
realize
we'll
the
save
locust.
that for a whole
Yeah,
episode.
but yeah,
I think that
so
would
there was
work.
grasshoppers, and they kept one locust with them who was like crazy,
Insane.
but like wanted
If
to
he
eat
was
the
crazy, they would
ants,
all be crazy,
which
is kind of what
yeah,
would happen.
doesn't really make sense that there's just one. Like infamously, if there's one locust, there's many locusts. That's like the thing, right? Uh, I
I
also
forgot about
yeah,
that.
I also felt like it was weird that only Flick used machinery. That felt weird that there wasn't other machines
The
around.
machinery was very grounded.
Yes, the
Where like you
machinery
take
was
some leaves and
very
you
grounded.
strap some stuff together
Yeah, yeah.
and then boom,
He
you've got this
he's
crazy.
wearing like a walnut as a welding mask.
Oh, what? You make an acorn mask
Yes,
in
yes.
grounded. Yeah.
I
So
would love to get in contact with the grounded developers. So how many times did you see A Bug's Life as a kid? I need to know exact numbers, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." Oh,
yeah, it really made me laugh. Thinking about that. Trying to think of other
so the I'm trying to think of other
if
subtle
we missed
jokes because there's a
anything.
lot of jokes that I did not catch as a kid that now as an adult I'm like, oh, that's
Mm,
pretty. There's like obvious sight gags like the flies, babies or maggots, like we were talking about. The
yeah.
babies should be maggots. That's very funny. The flies make a lot of really quick turnaround jokes, like only having 24 hours to live.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah,
I got
yeah.
24
They're
hours to live,
short.
and I'm not spending it here.
Here. Yeah, there are lots of cute little like bug jokes like that. Oh, the the caterpillar not really becoming a butterfly really made me angry. Like angry at the end. I was like, what is
He's a
this?
he's a beautiful butterfly. How dare you? Just because he's still a
He's
caterpillar.
horrifying. He's absolutely horrifying. When he stuck his chubby little face out of that chrysalis, I was so mad.
His name is
Like, what are we
Heimlich.
doing
I
here?
will say
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
there is a lot of weirdly, I don't want to say racial, but like that's the only thing I can think to say. Weirdly racial
There were some
jokes.
accents in this movie that I felt were not
Like
great,
not
that
good.
did
Like
not hold
it's
up. Yeah.
there's some 90s drift that I'm like, "Oh,
Very 90s, yeah.
guys, we're this is what we're doing?" Like the pill bugs are like have like this weird made up gibberish Eastern
But
European
but
language.
it's Eastern European-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, it's
like,
like not, I think it's meant to be sound like Hungarian, but it's clearly not a real, they're just going like and I'm like, "Oh, guys, don't do this."
like, calm down, little buddies.
Yeah.
Calm down. And how dare you do that to my pill bugs? How
Also,
dare you,
let
Disney?
be gentlemen of class and refinement, yeah. There was also a joke I never got as a kid is that the mantis has a not mantis wife, and how that's a funny joke because if he had a
Yeah,
mantis wife, he would not be here.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was good. I liked that. Oh, you know that I love when bugs have or anything small like grounded, where something humany becomes something else on bug scale. The comb
Hmm.
becomes the ladder. Always love
Yeah.
that. So the bug city under the deck was very cool. I liked that a lot.
Oh, yeah, that
I
was
like
very
when
cool.
they needed to change the spotlight color, so they shine it through a lollipop. Very good. Me and my younger sister used to quote this movie a lot. We'd say, "I want a poo poo platter" a lot, and then the flies all come onto the poo poo platter. Um, the other one we used to say all the time was, there's like those two mosquitoes, and there's a bug zapper, and they're like, "No, don't look at the light. I can't help it. It's so
It's so
beautiful."
beautiful. Yeah.
I just used to say that one all the time. Uh,
I loved that the head of the circus was a flea.
Yes, a
That was very
flea,
appropriate.
flea. As mentioned just a mere episode ago,
Your episode
the
ago,
the the
yeah.
flea circus, also a very good, very, and like their train is like Cracker Jack box, like circus animal
Yeah.
boxes.
It's really
Yeah,
cute.
I like that a
Pulled
lot.
by two very big
Very
millipedes.
big millipedes. It's also interesting what bugs seem to be capable of speech. Like I think we're meant to assume they're all capable of speech, but why was the
Those millipedes seemed like they were not,
yeah,
though.
exactly, were they
They're like
animals?
horses.
Yeah, like
This happens a lot when in movies when we anthropomorphize
who
things.
gets
We don't
anthropomorphized? Yeah, yeah.
anthropomorphize everything. Yeah.
Why is the big beetle dumb? The Brad.
He's like a dog.
Yeah,
He was kind of like a
he
dog.
could
Yeah.
speak, but he like did the Elmo thing where he speaks to about himself in the third. He's like, "Dim don't want to go," and you're like,
Yeah.
why is this guy? Maybe he sustained some sort of traumatic brain injury at the circus, and we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know the whole backstory of that guy. Um, yeah, it was mostly cute. I guess it held up. I mean, again, some things were a little bit problematic. Um, but the story was fine,
Mhm.
and the proverb was,
Interestingly
a
applied. Yeah,
classic.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic.
What sort of ants do you think they are? They.
Oh, they're leafcutter ants. Atta. Remember the genus
Oh,
Atta?
you're so right.
Princess Atta.
That's right. I think I mentioned it in that episode. Oh, that's a funny joke about Princess Anna. And then they have like leaves at one point, but they've got that like, what was it called? The like skeletonizer or whatever, like patterns on some of the leaves in the background.
Oh, well, that would be caterpillars
Caterpillar eating.
skeletonizing the leaves. Um, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I think we covered most of.
Also, they shouldn't have been collecting grain. They should have been harvesting fungus.
Well, they should be cutting leaves to put into their fungus garden.
Right. Which I I mean,
Remember, we just did
no,
an
no, no, no. I,
episode
I
on
agree with you,
this.
but I'm
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to think. how did they end up in an extortion scheme with the grasshoppers if the grasshoppers eat a totally different food set than them?
Well, you guys are both wrong. They're harvester ants.
They're
Harvester
harvester
ants? So
ants?
they're
Yeah.
harvesting.
Yeah, that's the harvester ants
Mm.
eat seeds.
Okay, so they're harvester ants that live
Or
on
they
this.
gather seeds rather than leaves.
Oh, okay.
They
Well,
come, they
that's the
eat, they
wrong
leave.
Yeah, they just named her. They just gave her a human
genus. Why
name.
did
There's not a
they?
ton of. You can't name, you know,
They all have
uh,
weird names like that. Like this.
Solenopsis isn't a good name for a princess.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they gave her the name, the genus name of
Well,
This is a
their
leafcutter.
very
cousin.
pun-heavy
It's a
movie.
very fun heavy
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
The stick bug is named Slim. Uh, the flea I think is PT Flea, which is clearly like a Barnum
P.T.
thing. Yeah.
Barnum. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mean, they have. I don't. Do we need to mention the Better Names Project again?
Oh yeah, maybe we probably should mention the better because there is a whole character named Gypsy. Gypsy, she's Gypsy Moth.
Yeah, we don't call them
We
gypsy moth. She also looks nothing like a gypsy moth, so that's
No, it just seems to be a weird,
just referencing other
unfortunate
bugs.
pejorative used
yeah, yeah.
in a children's movie.
um, yeah, yeah, some weird things going on there. The whole circus also had some like bad circus vibes, like some of the things. Producer Derek mentioned at one point that the Hopper calls the ants termites as if it is a pejorative at one point, and it's like, oh, are termites social outcasts in bug society?
Yeah, what was that?
Like,
Yeah, that's a good
is
catch.
there like a class system based off of like if you live underground or not? Like I don't expect Pixar to get into those sorts of things. But when you like use language like this, it does open up a rabbit hole of like, why?
What's
I mean,
going
it is
on?
a movie about the proletariat rising against the
You're so
bourgeoisie.
right. It is literally at one point Flick says for oppressed ants everywhere. Like they're not being
Yeah, yeah.
subtle about this messaging of like, hey, the big dominant class is oppressing you. It's bad. Stop letting them do that.
So, Amanda, you did see this movie many times when
Many
you were
times.
younger. What is the stark, is there like a stark difference now as an adult?
Um, well, obviously those themes that are not subtle to an adult mind were more subtle. As a kid, you watch this movie and you think it's about bullying. As a kid, you watch this movie and you think it's about like the bad guy is mean, and it's not
Hmm.
till you're older that you're like, oh, this movie is like actually kind of layered about like power and control and who really has it and who really doesn't in interesting ways. Like there's that whole speech that Hopper gives about how, yeah, one of the grasshoppers says, why do we care so much? Why do we have to go back all the time? It's just uh, like, let's just not bother with it. And the grasshopper, the bad guy, says, yeah, you're right. It was only one ant that stood up to me. But the problem is once one ant stands up, they all stand up. And that moment gets memed
Yeah.
a lot.
And then they bury him under
And then
seeds.
exactly. He throws one seed at him and it doesn't hurt. He throws two seeds at him and it doesn't hurt. But he drops 1,000 seeds on him and he's crushed. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good thing. That was one of the things also how sometimes they would engage in bug behavior and sometimes they wouldn't. And at one point Hopper like uses his antenna to smell the princess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, that's really an interesting moment to have them behave. Specifically, the villain behaves like a bug in a way that
Yeah.
we don't ever see the protagonists behave bug like that. And it just always reminds me of uh, what's it called now? Something 9, District 9. Is that right?
District 9.
Where they're
Yeah.
the
They
bugs.
become bugs,
The bugs
kind
are
of. Yeah.
aliens. Yeah, and how when the bugs aren't sympathetic, they behave like bugs. But when they are sympathetic, they have big baby blue eyes, and they
Yeah.
speak English, and all those things. Um, so
You know what
interesting.
cracked me up was when the two isopods stole one of Hopper's antennae.
Oh yeah,
They just like rip it off, and then later, like way end of the movie, everyone's celebrating and they're tickling each other with
yeah,
it,
yeah.
like absolute weirdos.
They're like doing that thing you can do with like crab claws where if you pull the tendon, it makes the claw go.
Yeah.
But they're like doing that to his antenna. And I'm like, I don't think that's how antenna
And
work,
they're
but that's
tickling
gross.
each other in the face. I'm like, you guys are insane. What is
Piece
going
of
on?
someone else's body. Like, gross, dude. Yeah, the pill bugs were an interesting addition.
A choice.
I do like the part where Flick is like explaining his whole motivation
Mhm.
to the circus bugs. He thinks they're warriors still, but he's like telling them the whole story to catch them up. But he's telling it to these pill bugs who don't speak English,
English or
whatever the
yeah.
bug language they're all speaking is. And so they're like,
They remind me of Minions.
they're very Minion-esque.
Yeah,
They're
a little
very
minion-y,
Minion-esque,
yeah.
which also feels
Yeah, they just look
wrong.
at each other and shrug.
like,
They're like, okay.
I guess he told us, but I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite character was the mime millipede.
My
the
millipede.
Oh,
scene.
that was really funny. Yeah.
There's also
That would
one
kill
point where
me.
you hear the Black Widow's talking to someone, and she's like, and that's how I became a widow. Well, I've always been a widow. Or like, she's like, that's how my 12th husband died. And then I became a widow. Well, I've always been a widow, but now I'm a Black Widow. Widow.
Yeah, she's like, I've always been a Black Widow, but now I'm a
Crazy
Black
Bonnie
Widow
Hunt,
widow.
you're
It's just this little side conversation that's happening, and it really doesn't matter, but it's funny.
Yeah. Just
Um,
little things like that are what I like. And then what's his name who's in every Pixar movie? John Ratzenberger, I think. John Ratzenberger. He gets all this credit for being in all these Pixar films, but at this point, Bonnie Hunt has been the voice of someone's mom in so many
everything.
animated films.
Yeah.
That, like, we should be putting respect on her name.
Yeah, I noticed Bonnie Hunt was in it. I was like, wow, Bonnie Hunt's everywhere.
She's everywhere. And she's like a sleeper agent. I'm watching suddenly Bonnie Hunt, and I like I said,
You're great, Bonnie Hunt. We love
we
you.
love you, Bonnie Hunt.
Friend of the pod,
Bonnie
Bonnie Hunt.
If you ever want to come on and talk about something, Bonnie Hunt, let us know. Who's your favorite bug? But yeah, Ratzenberger has been there from the very beginning. He's Ham in Toy Story, and he hasn't missed a Pixar film yet. He's always there. Sometimes he's just like one little line, but he's there.
But he's in
He's
there,
waiting.
yeah.
They have to unthaw.
Someone loves Ratzenberger. Yeah.
I always want to say Ratzenberg because it's Katzenberg, which is an easy tie-in to the movie I don't want to watch, but we will have to discuss it now. The twin film to this movie, Ants.
Yeah, when I was telling Joe that this was what we were doing today on the podcast, he was like, you should go in and pretend like you watched Ants instead.
I admit that would have been I'd be like, what are you talking about? What? Patrick Warburton.
He did say Ants was terrible.
Ants is bad, and I stand by that. Having not seen the film since 1998, I will stand by it, and I say I think Ants is bad. Are you familiar with the concept of like twin films?
No, nothing. No, nothing.
Yeah. So Ants is kind of there's Armageddon, and there's, what is the other one? Deep Impact. Is that what it is? Deep Impact?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But sometimes you see this where like suddenly 6 pirate movies come out.
Yeah, or volcano
disaster. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Suddenly all tornado films. So for this one, it's A Bug's Life and it's Ants. But whereas some of those other movies might be coincidences, they might be. It could be that the same guy went around town pitching an idea and they said, well, we don't like your script, but we like your idea. We're going to write our own.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
And sometimes it can be just that the oeuvre was out there and someone said, hey, no one's made a pirate movie in a while. And then 3 pirate movies all come out. You never know. That is not the case with A Bug's Life and Ants. Ants is specifically created to compete with A Bug's Life.
Really?
Yes. It's a torrid tale.
You said Patrick Warburton.
He's like the big guard muscly ant in Ants.
Oh, I love Patrick Warburton,
and
I want him to be in everything.
Another dude who just successfully said, I guess I'm going to voice act now. And people were like,
he's great.
You should do that. And he was like, I will. Oh yeah, I'm Patrick Warburton.
Very perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect
Thank you.
Likeness of Patrick Warburton. 10 out of 10.
He'll always be Kronk to me because that's like really where I got to know him. You know, because I'm 10 when that movie came out. But yeah, it was not to
He's the Tick.
He's the Tick to you. Yeah, he's the perfect Tick.
Yeah.
It's a shame that show
Although,
was
I mean,
crazy.
what's his name crushed it too.
Yeah.
I don't think Patrick Warburton is in Ants.
Pretty sure he is, fella.
I'll have to cut this if I'm wrong, but I just did a Google search of the Wikipedia
Leave
page.
it in, Derek.
He's not.
However, is Patrick Warburton?
I think you're thinking of Sylvester Stallone. It's not a good movie.
Oh
so
my gosh, I think you're right. I think it
Yeah, I
is
don't see him in Ants.
Sylvester Stallone doing.
Who's much worse at doing voices than
He has
Patrick
Stallone
Warburton.
just sounds like Stallone. He can't.
He has a
He
But
can't
disability.
apparently not
physically
enough
act.
He
to
doesn't
fool you
speak well.
guys.
I've never seen it, so
Okay, well, we'll have to cut it
I am
all.
free of this.
All right, well,
Um,
maybe I'm thinking of him as Ken in a B movie, which
That would make sense.
he make yes.
We'll make you watch that one, Kelly.
We're gonna make you
The B
watch the
movie?
B movie. I've also only seen the B movie once when it freshly came out.
we should just make me watch all the Bug movies. I don't mind. It's fun. You know,
What's not to like?
it's a reason for me to like sit on the couch on like a
You're like,
Thursday while eating lunch.
Please,
and
Joe,
watch
I'm working right
watch a
now.
movie. Yes, I'm working right now.
Please keep your commentary to yourself, Joe. I'm working.
I'm doing this job that doesn't pay me anything.
right.
Excuse me.
My labor-intensive hobby is calling me.
It's very important. He doesn't mind. He's good about it.
Oh, Ants. Okay, now I'm looking at the Ants cast, which, yes, it is. Yeah, it is. It's Sylvester Stallone.
Stallone.
But like, also Ants has like a weirdly stacked celebrity cast because they're trying to directly compete with A Bug's Life. But like,
Yeah.
they mess up from jump because the main character is Woody Allen, who is not as
Ugh.
likable as Nick Foley on every level.
Dave Foley.
Dave Foley,
But he's also probably not as likable as Nick Foley.
no,
either.
the list of people more likable than Woody Allen is endless.
It's so high.
New people
It's
are being
endless.
born all the time who are more likable. You'll never catch up. But like Sharon Stone, I think, is the princess. I think Danny Glover's in there somewhere. Again, I have not watched this movie since 2000, probably 2001, when my mom finally caved and let us borrow it from the Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster. I miss
Yeah,
you.
okay, now I'm on the IMDb and I'm scrolling through and it's endless. Christopher Walken apparently is the bad guy. We're talking about this movie that I have not seen.
Well, we'll watch it.
We'll
We'll
have to
make
get back to
ourselves
it. We'll have
watch
to get
it
back to it.
for a future episode,
But
or
it's-
maybe a Patreon
but
thing or something.
It starts as the saltiest movie to begin with because, like I said, it's not an accident that it's Katzenberg being a jerk. So to back up to the early 90s, the president of Disney passes. There's now a hole where the president should go. And Katzenberg thinks it ought to be him. And it's not. No. They say, no, Katzenberg. You can't be president of Disney. Goodbye. You can continue to do your job now, but you can't be president. And he's mad. He's big mad. So he leaves. And he makes his own animation studio, DreamWorks. And his Steve Jobs is old Steven there. Spielberg. You may be familiar. Because Steven Spielberg really wanted to get into animation as well. So when Katzenberg was like, hey, let's do it, they did it. So now there's DreamWorks and there's Pixar. And then DreamWorks goes to a company called PDI. I'm trying to remember what they stand for, like Pacific.
You may also want to explain the relationship between Steve Jobs and Pixar.
Okay.
Do you know about that, Kelly?
No.
Oh, Steve Jobs. Basically, Steve Jobs. So the short answer is Pixar was going under. It's too expensive. Mm-hmm. Computers are too expensive. It's the 90s. Computers are hugely expensive. And Steve Jobs liked it. He liked the animation. So basically he bankrolls Pixar in exchange for getting to be like a big wig at Pixar. So Steve Jobs, and like if you watch, so there's a certain era, I'm not sure if it's still there, but there's a certain era of Pixar films where if you watch the credits all the way to the end, there's always a special thank you to Steve Jobs. And a special thanks to Steve Jobs.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like there's no animals were harmed in the making of this film. Thank you, Steve Jobs. Like every single time. Anyway, so DreamWorks goes and they buy Pacific Data Images, which is a contemporary animation firm to Pixar. There's Pixar, there's Specific Data Images, but it's kind of one of those things where like the animation world is very small. So Pacific Data Images is like friends with Pixar. They're both in the same field, but they're friends. Even though they technically compete, you know. And now that DreamWorks owns Pacific Data Images, all of the technology that Pacific Data Images is like generating now belongs to DreamWorks and does not belong to Pixar. Pixar cannot use it. So it's kind of just a little FU done by DreamWorks. But the interesting part is, so Katzenberg leaves. Psh, he's mad. He's going to go make his own animation studio. But Lasseter is now in charge of Pixar. And him and Katzenberg are still on pretty friendly terms. They've been working together a long time. They're still pretty friendly. So Katzenberg invites Lasseter over to like the animation studio. Come take a look, see what's going on, you know? And they're still buddies. They still talk on the phone, you know, whatever. And Katzenberg asks Lasseter, he says, hey, so what are you guys working on over there? You know, I remember some of the pitches because remember, Katzenberg's there when the pitches are made.
There, yeah.
So he knows what the pitches were, but he doesn't know which ones went forward. So he asks Lasseter, hey man, what are you guys working on over there? You know? And Lasseter just like spills his guts, just tells him all about it. Oh, we're working on this, you know, remember Bugs Life? We're working on that. At the time, I think it was called something else. It's called Bugged, I think. And he tells him, you know, we're developing this, we're doing that. It's going to be this circus bugs. You know, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. And Katzenberg's like, oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, wow. When are you going to release that? And Lasseter's like, oh, we're going to release it in, I think, 94, you know? We're going to release, you know, this is our timeline. This is where we're doing. And Katzenberg's like, oh, wow. And just like mean girl, you know? And so Lasseter like goes home thinking nothing of it because he's like, oh, it's so great that the animation's doing so well. So many people love animation. Wow. Bless your heart, Lasseter. But then comes the announcement that DreamWorks is making a movie about ants called Ants. And that it's going to come out in 94. And Lasseter calls up Katzenberg and is like, what's going on here? And Katzenberg's like, what? A fella can't have an idea about bugs anymore in this world? I heard the pitches back in 91 or whatever. I just happened to think it was a good idea. And they go back and forth for a little while, and Lasseter finally is like, just tell me the truth, man. Are you scooping us on purpose? And Katzenberg eventually does confess, like, yeah, I am. I'm scooping you guys. You should have made me president.
It's so rude.
So rude. And so Lasseter, who like infamously was like a pretty chill dude, like cusses Katzenberg out, and it's like the end of their friendship. They're like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, it should be. That's a huge betrayal.
And then a little bit later, so now there's like basically like an arms race of who's going to release their movie first. DreamWorks has been working on Prince of Egypt, and they're going to release Prince of Egypt around Easter, except that because of tomfoolery between who's going to release who when, they don't end up releasing at Easter. So Prince of Egypt then becomes a Christmas movie, which makes no sense, by the way. Like, it's a movie about Passover. It should be coming out around Passover, but then it comes out at Christmas, so that affected it. In the end, Katzenberg moves Ants from being also a Christmas movie, so they, you know, flipped around, to like 2 months ahead. So it then becomes like an October movie, which means that it's going to come out 2 months before Bugs Life, which was scheduled to come out as a Christmas movie. And Steve Jobs personally calls Katzenberg and says, hey man, this is rude. Is there anything I can say to you that will change your mind about releasing this movie when you're releasing it? Literally 2 months ahead of us on purpose. And Katzenberg more or less says, make it worth my while to change the movie date. I think he wanted them to change when other stuff was coming out so that Prince of Egypt could get moved back to Passover, but I'm not positive about that. But basically Katzenberg says, make it worth my while. And Steve Jobs says, no, I won't be doing that. Click. And all of this is happening behind the scenes.
Steve Jobs.
Threaten me with
Seems crazy.
And like all this time, Katzenberg's like in the press, being a jerk, being all like I'm a petty jerk. I
Look at how petty I
look at how
am.
petty I
Look
am.
at
Disney screwed me, blah, blah, blah. And Pixar and Steve Jobs, Lasseter are all trying to play it cool. We're not going to comment on that, blah, blah, blah. But eventually Steve Jobs does say, well, the bad guys don't win. And in the end, Bug's Life made way more money than Ants ever did because, and I'm sure according to Steve Jobs, that means that the good guy won. You may have differing opinions on that, following the trajectories of.
But was
where...
Ants was really bad?
Ants. Okay, so here's the thing about Ants. So A Bug's Life has a lot of. It's. So they have.
Here's Derek is giving us a thumbs down.
They have a similar. Not that Rotten Tomatoes is any sort of parameter at this point.
Yeah.
But they have a similar score. But A Bug's Life has adult themes in it. Sure. But as we discussed, I didn't catch a lot of those themes until I was an adult. And just enjoyed a narrative about, hey, stand up to bullies, right? Don't let people bully you. Get some friends, threaten to eat them. Obviously. Not the takeaway.
That's life.
That's life, baby. Which we should discuss how graphic, not even graphic, but like the villain at the end of this Pixar film gets eaten by baby birds, gets torn asunder by 3 huge
and they
chicks.
Kind of make it slow too. Like you're really seeing.
There's no question. This dude got eaten by birds, torn apart by big monsters, which have been. They do a good job in this movie, in my opinion, of making the bird a looming threat in many ways. You see the bird early on, it almost gets them. They make the fake monster, which is a bird, and then at the end, the Deus Ex Machina is the bird.
The bird, yeah.
Once again, the bird, which I liked. I felt like it wasn't an obvious solution that the bird was going to get Hopper in the end, but when it happens, it makes sense. You're like,
yeah,
I
see. Like, okay, that's good. We like this.
Okay, but he gets torn asunder. It's a little dark, but I liked it. But so, Ants.
You were making the comparison to Ants,
yeah. But A Bug's Life, I did not catch those more adult themes because they do a good job of leaving a child theme in there. Stand up to bullies. Ants does not do that. Ants is an adult movie. It's a lot of Woody Allen-esque jokes, which if you know Woody Allen's comedy is adult comedy. The whole thing is about like a general purposely sending soldiers on suicide missions so that it weakens the colony enough that he can coup d'etat the queen. And there's like a whole bunch of military.
That is not for children.
There's like, yeah, exactly. There's like a bunch of military strategy and stuff. Again, this is me reading the Wikipedia because I saw it as a kid, and my mom was like, "Never again. You're not renting this again." Yeah, it was, and the culture of animation. Even to this day, you'll have some people that are like, "Well, animation's for kids. That's cartoons. That's for kids." When nowadays, I think you'll see more adult media in an animation style. Invincible is a good example of an adult superhero genre. Like, it's bloody. Bad things are happening in Invincible. But like even Venture Brothers, Rick and Morty, I'd say even South Park, even though that one dates back the night. Like the idea of animation being the medium of an adult story is more familiar now than it would have been in the 90s when animation was kind of at its, or I should say 3D animation was at its infancy as far as a medium goes. It's really only Toy Story, which did really well, and then you got Bug's Life and Ants, but it's still very much, where is this medium going to go? And I think Ants tried to be like, well, we can make this an adult medium right away. We don't need to relegate 3D animation to a kid's medium for all.
Except no one wants to watch that at that time period.
Except for that, it was too late. It was
and it was bad.
For the public consciousness, 3D animation was still cartoons, and so it doesn't really make any sense that Ants would be so adult, so PG-13.
Yeah.
to compete against what is very clearly a family-friendly film. I mean, just looking at the posters, the ants poster is brown with these human-faced bugs, you know, who are shaped like centaurs, by the way. They do have all 6 legs, but they are centaur-shaped ants. They have like
Oh, their faces are very creepy.
they're uncanny valley, which as much as I don't
Yeah.
super love the ant design in A Bug's Life, it never uncanny valleyed me, whereas the ants ones do.
Yeah, this is very weird looking.
But even just the poster, it's very brown. They're digging in the tunnels. They're ants. Whereas A Bug's Life, the ants are all like varying shades of blue and purple, which doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. Don't get me wrong. That makes no sense. But it's very clearly like, hey, you can bring your kids to this, and they won't get traumatized in the opening sequence. So ants just, and I don't want to say it was ahead of its time, but like that sort of writing for a major animation studio, like even now the major animation studios don't do that. That's pretty much still TV animation makes
Yeah.
serious adult. I mean, depending on where you fall on far as anime exposure, as it coincides with animation in the US, because like the number one animated film, I think 2 years ago was Demon Slayer, as far as like gross product goes. So
Yeah.
that's its own whole
Well,
discussion.
I guess we'll have to cover the monstrosity that is
Ugh,
ants
I
at some point.
guess it's
Maybe
only
as
fair.
like a Patreon thing.
Yeah,
Like
maybe
a Patreon episode.
a Patreon of them. Who did bugs better? And honestly, I think the ants probably has more accurate bugs. Probably. I don't know. Again, having not. But
Yeah, Derek is saying
Derek's
no.
saying no.
Derek is shaking his
But I
head.
think A Bug's Life had a pretty wide cast of different kinds of bugs. And
As far as I remember, there are fewer species of
okay,
bugs
interesting.
in ants, but it's
I only
been,
like vaguely remember
30
like a
plus years or
wasp.
whatever.
Hmm.
There was like a couple wasps.
There are termites in it, and they are like Starship Trooper monsters.
Oh,
Right.
jeez. Well, another weird thing where some of the bugs are anthropomorphic and others are
It's
wild
not. I
beasts.
don't want to listen to you guys talk about ants. It's a bad movie.
Okay, sorry.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, fair
Let
enough.
us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, that's probably fair. But in the end, I think.
So,
Do you what's your final conclusion as far as
final
how
conclusion.
accurate to bugs was A Bug's Life?
Not
Not
accurate.
accurate.
Just not accurate.
The cast of characters, certainly. You didn't
Yeah,
like
it
all
was
this
it was
stick
cute. It
bug
was
jokes about a
fine.
stick. He's a stick with eyeballs. That's like the whole
There
thing.
were so many stick bug jokes. Um, I also liked uh going back to when Hopper was being eaten. I'm watching it and it reminded me of, is it Jurassic Park 3 where they feed, or is it 2 where they feed like the T-Rex just grabs a guy and then puts it in the nest with the
Oh,
baby
I think that's the
T-Rexes?
end of 2. I think that's
Is
the
it
end of
2 and they
2.
just shred him?
Yeah.
That's
And then
like
like the
that
mommy
was the
T-Rex like
vibe.
looks lovingly on and is like,
Yeah, she's just looking down. Oh, because she knocks him over a couple times.
"Oh, that's what
And
it
then I
is.
think
She
she
knocks
bites
him
his leg,
over."
right?
Yeah,
She bites his leg so he can't
it's the
walk.
end of 2. It's the like hunter guy, and she like
Yeah, the hunter
chomps his
guy.
leg
I
so that
love
he's
Jurassic Park.
injured, and then she like gives like a nod go ahead to the baby T-Rex who they've had like throughout the film, and the baby T-Rex is like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna practice hunting," and it was very much like when a mother cat injures a bird, and then is like, "Okay,
Yeah,
it's your
and then
turn to
gives
hunt
it.
it," you know.
Go ahead,
Go
kittens.
ahead, kitten, get
But
it.
yeah, that's that scene reminded me of.
Also, very late in the year.
And I see in Derek's notes it reminded him of the same thing,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's
okay,
good.
good. Very late in the year for that bird to have chicks. If it's like the first day of fall.
Some
Well,
some birds will have multiple broods depending on the species, so you might get some a little bit later
my
than
my
others.
mom right now has a bunch of hanging planters. She does hanging planters every year in front of her house, and I don't know. Are they called junco birds? Does that sound or
Junco, dark-eyed
dark
juncos.
juncos? There is a nest in one of the hanging baskets now, and so now
Oh, I love juncos. They're so
mom goes
cute.
to water it. They're like,
Assault! Assault!
Like the it's usually the male Junko, I feel, because he's a little bit darker. He like does that like thing where like he gets on the ground. He's like, tweet, 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 tweet. I'm over here. You should follow me.
How
Don't
dare
go
you?
in that
Yeah.
hanging basket. There's nothing interesting over there. You should look at me. You know. I've started calling
Yeah,
them.
she should,
Oh, sorry, go on.
if she can avoid watering
Yeah,
that basket until the Junkos are gone, or get a self-watering,
yeah.
the
One of the
glass
orbs.
spikes,
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna
and
do.
do that, and then just leave them alone, because she might stress those chicks out a little too hard
Yeah,
too.
they're still
It's just
eggs at
better to
this
leave them
point.
alone.
They're still eggs. They're not
But
yet
they're not
chicks, but it won't be
they're
long.
not gonna be at some
No,
point.
at some point.
Yeah. Tell her to get a watering bulb
Yeah,
and stick it in there, and don't
yeah.
just leave them alone.
But I was
Or remove the nest and call it a day.
I was
But
looking at
don't do
them,
both.
and like they are one of the birds that like has like 2-3 nests over a single summer. So, and then they'll part ways and say, "Congratulations."
I like those little guys. My
They're
dad
really
loves
cute.
dark-eyed juncos. They're in New Jersey. They stay for the winter.
I like black-capped
So they're around like
chickadees. That's what I have in my backyard. Is the black-capped
black-capped
chickadee,
chickadee.
and they drive my cat insane. She was doing that thing the other day,
Oh
and I was like, I
yeah.
love when cats do that. I love it.
The chitter.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. How many legs out of 6 would you give a Bug's Life?
I always forget about Bugs Life. Does that make sense? Like, it's not on my list of like beloved movies that like I come back to over and over again, the way that
Mhm.
like some of the more Disney classics are, or even either other Pixar movies. But it's strong. It's a really strong, because every time I watch it, I like it. Does that make sense? Like I don't think about it much, but when
Yeah.
I watch it, I really like it. So I would give it Hmm. 6 for the messaging, but I'm going to take away a leg for scientific inaccuracy. Maybe I better take away 2 legs. I'll take away a leg and an antenna from scientific
A leg and an antenna.
because it's not very scientifically accurate. But if you were like a kid who was like into bugs, or if you were a kid and you saw this movie and you got you into bugs, that would be a path I could see being carved of like, wow.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be.
I think it has some interesting choices as far as bug anatomy go, obviously. But also like the Princess Ada thing, it's clear that they were like thinking and talking about bugs. And I kind of like that idea that like, okay, sure, you didn't use the right genus name, but you made a joke about a different ant. So clearly you were doing a lot of ant research.
Yeah.
You were making tiny cameras and dragging them through the grass. You were watching, I think I saw at one point they watched a bunch of bug documentaries to like try and get the world of bugs. So like they were living in a bug world. They were living a bug's life. So as much as they had to make decisions based off of what their technology could do, because one of the fun things about Pixar is they're really pushing what computer animation can do at any given moment. And now to the same effect, Disney Animation Studios is also that. But like, it's amazing what sort of technology comes out of what is ostensibly like a child's movie. Like all these algorithms that had nowhere to go as far as like random generation get used in the crowd scenes of this movie because they needed all these hundreds of ants to move individually without anyone having to go in and individually animate all these ants, because that was going to take months and months and months of work. So they were able to write algorithms to randomly generate ants and then randomly make them move in.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's very
like
cool.
I'm sure that has other applications that are cool and interesting. And it's developed for this film, you know? And I think it's cool that they're pushing, that this artistic endeavor is pushing forth other ideas so well. Maybe I just love animation. It's really hard for me to like separate.
It sounds like you like animation more than you like A Bug's Life.
Maybe. Again, I think some of the character designs are bad. I think the ant designs are bad. I think they are They don't look like if you showed me that creature and like what animal is this, I don't know that ant would be the first thing I said. Because like you said, no mandibles. I think the antenna is like doing some heavy lifting as far as
Heavy
them being
lifting.
they're
Yeah.
bugs. Only the flies have compound eyes, which I understand from a
Yeah,
design
the lack of
choice.
compound eyes for anybody was
But
something.
they gotta give them these
Um,
big human blue eyes so that we
yeah.
think that
The
they're.
spider silk strength was also a little bit insane.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's yeah. There were several points where like they do something and I'm like, that's gonna deteriorate. That's biological matter. That's gonna
Yeah,
last
that's
3 days.
not gonna.
So yeah.
I liked it. As a kids movie, it's cute. It's got good messaging. Um, I will give my controversial hot take. I hate Randy Newman songs. I hate them so
It
much.
was a bug, a
And
little
oh, I
bug.
can't. It just ruined. The minute it started playing at the end, I was like, oh, I was having a nice time, and now I'm not having a nice time anymore.
That's fair. He's a specific sort of flavor, and for a while, that flavor was prevalent in all Pixar films.
Oh, I just. Derek says the bloopers were good. I did not watch any bloopers,
Oh, the
so
bloopers.
I don't know.
So back in the day, Pixar used to make fake bloopers as if the characters were actors, and they would use flubbed up lines from the voice
Oh, that's
cast.
cute.
Um,
Yeah.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus laughs too hard in this take. Let's animate it. That sort of stuff. Um, those are cute. I like those. I wish they'd bring those back. I think they stopped doing them for around Toy Story 2. I can't think of any that are later than that.
It's extra work for the
Yeah.
animators, and
Yeah.
yeah.
A lot of times it's the sort of stuff that you give to someone who needs to like get familiar with the program.
Oh, maybe like an intern.
Hey, intern, animate this joke.
Have a fun thing, yeah. I think I would give it out of 6 legs like a 3.
Yeah.
I think a solid 3. It was fine.
It's not your genre of movie for certain.
It's not my jam.
The bugs
but,
were not accurate.
There's a lot of inaccuracies.
They all have
but there can be,
forward-facing
right?
eyes.
Because it's a kids movie. Yeah, it was all right. But anyway, thanks for making me watch this movie.
I think everyone should watch it. I think it's good. I think the lesson of stand up to bullies. Stand up.
Yeah. If you liked A Bug's Life and you think we missed anything, feel
Yeah.
free to email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com.
Is there a
We love
really
it.
egregious bug mistake that we didn't touch on?
that
you're
we
like,
didn't talk
you
about?
didn't even talk about all this stuff. Yeah, I like when the
I
praying
was
mantis
folding laundry while watching
walks
the
around.
movie,
He
so
walks around with his hands like this. Also, the praying mantis had like there's a lot of really weird, vaguely racial stuff, especially in the circus.
there was a lot of racial stuff going on. Yeah.
I think they were trying to do like a certain era of circus where like it was very
well, they were trying
international.
to do the
P.T.
quote
Barnum.
unquote freak show
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
which is also a
Bad.
problem. Yeah, a problem.
But like, yeah, the praying mantis seems to be like Chinese.
And then there was some like gender things with the ladybug.
The ladybug, some gender, yeah. And like, are they making a joke about it being a Chinese mantis because Chinese mantises are like in the U.S.? I don't know. I just don't know. Do I trust them?
They don't know.
I don't trust them that that's the commentary they were making.
I don't think they were going that deep with it. Yeah.
I think they Googled mantises and saw like their common names and were like, oh, okay, cool. We'll just do this then, I guess. He's a magician. It's fine.
I think this is a pre-Google movie.
You're probably right.
Probably is. It probably is is it an Ask Jeeves movie?
They had to ask Jeeves. Tell me about praying mantises, Ask Jeeves. I'm going to look now. When did Google become common? 1998. You're so right there. They would have had to ask someone else. They would have had to Yahoo an answer.
Oh gosh, Yahoo, yeah. Yeah. 1998, I was...
They had to whip out their old encyclopedia.
14 or 15, depending on...
They thunk E for entomology down on their desk. And they started flipping it open. Those teeny tiny paper thin pages that encyclopedias always have. I'm like, did you start this thin or has the pressure made you so tiny? Anyway.
Well, I think we can wrap it up.
I think I like it.
What a time.
I like A Bug's Life. If there's other bug movies that you really feel like we should watch, I know that for Spooko you did a spider movie.
We did Infested,
yes.
which was a French movie, which also had some pretty interesting social connotations to it, and it was good. We enjoyed that. You can listen to that episode on Spooko, or I don't remember if we put it up in our feed or not. We did, but it's around. It's around.
Don't make me watch Arachnophobia. That's my only.
Oh, really? That's what I want to watch. We should watch Eight-Legged Freaks, which is probably a little less. It's a little more jokey. A little more jokey. Arachnophobia.
I just don't do well with body horror, like as just like in the general. Like someone's okay, and and when it's hokey, it's a little bit easier. You're like, oh my gosh, wow, like that's a little bit more fun.
Well, we can do Goldblum and The Fly. But that is body horror, and you might really hate that.
That might be okay because I've seen those prosthetics around, and those prosthetics, I think my mind could be like, oh, and here's Jeff Goldblum wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'd be okay. Yeah. Plus, I love Gina Davis, so I'm really willing to put up with a lot if it means the Queen. Gina
they were dating when that movie. He got her. He suggested that they interview
what
her.
What if you guys
and. Yeah, and I guess the director was like, we'll interview her as a favor to Goldblum.
Oh, okay.
And then they did, and they could not imagine anyone else.
They couldn't get it out of their minds.
Getting the part. Yeah, they're like, she's incredible.
We love Gina Davis, and I was like, you were right too. She's amazing. She's an Olympic archer. Can you believe that? That's crazy.
She's amazing.
She's great. What's not to love? Nothing. I'll tell you what's not to love. Wait, what is to love? Is the Bugs Need Heroes Reddit. Come on over. Come see us. Come talk to us. Tell us about the Bugs Life. Tell us what movie we should watch next. Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. See us on Instagram.
Hang out in our Instagram.
See us on Blue Sky.
We're on Blue Sky.
We're in your eyebrows. Eating your eyebrows. I don't know why that's the bug that I'm always like, don't forget.
You're obsessed.
Bugs in your eyebrows.
You're obsessed with them.
I just think it's because it's you don't think about it. And like other bugs that live on you are gross, not helpful. But the eyebrow bugs are helpful. I'm like, thank you. I've been meaning to get to those eyebrow bugs. Other than that, we love you. Bye. Bugs Need Heroes was created by Derek Conrad and Kelly Zimmerman. Hosted by Amanda Niday and Kelly Zimmerman. Bugs Need Heroes is produced and edited by Derek Conrad, with some assistance from Chelsea Bodden and a few cats. Character art is by Amanda Niday. Our music is Ladybug Castle by Roll Music. Got a bug question? Email us at bugsneedheroes@gmail.com. Check us out at bugsneedheroes.com, and most of the socials are under Bugs Need Heroes. Thanks for stopping by. They keep trying to uncancel him. I'm like, no, guys. Stop it. Get some help.